What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This is my 1997 Eagle Talon TSI, and originally I wasn't going to make this a YouTube video. It was kind of just going to be me documenting process and stuff along the way and sending it to friends, but after some time I decided to start making it into some more YouTube focused stuff, so we can start posting it online. But the video you're about to watch is going to be 5 months prior to this video being taken. So it was winter back then, it's now spring, almost summer, and a lot's been done to the car. And I just kind of want to put a little disclaimer out there that I'm going to be repeating myself a lot in these videos just because, again, I didn't think I was going to post it. So yeah, I'll be repeating and basically just going over a lot of boring little things. But we've done a lot to the car and there's going to be a lot more stuff on the channel. So some pretty big things are coming to the car pretty soon here, so if you want to stay posted, just keep watching. Thanks, guys. So just want to do a quick rundown on the car, what was done to the car before I did all the mods that kind of done to it. So from your guys' perspective, this is what's going to be in the car. It's a TD06 20G turbo with the 3-inch compressor housing and a ported TD06 turbine housing with a 44mm external wastegate with a dump tube. It's got 264, 272 comp cams. We've got DSM link, and I mean, for performance stuff, that's kind of it. We've got the AEM True Boost for boost control, so you can tune it right in DSM link. And then we've got a 6-buck clutch, 3-inch exhaust, front mount intercooler, and then the custom paint job. Obviously, as you guys can see here, we got a lot of sparkle on the hood, but there's the Carbonetics front lip. There's the front mount intercooler. We've got Enkey RPF ones. It's got some eBay projector headlights, and it's lowered on tying coilovers. It's got a front and rear strut bar and a 340 Aeromotive fuel pump rewired, and then we have a set of 650 or 660, like some Rochester GM injectors in there. And yeah, it's tuned on 93 from Shell, and it made 310 all-wheel horsepower at Rev Performance here in Calgary, Alberta. So not a bad little car, but we are changing a lot of things up, so keep following for more. So we started working on the Talon a couple days ago. The wiring harness actually burnt up, so had to take the fender off, obviously the bumper, the radiator, other fender, took everything off. There was a little bit of harness just kind of wrapped up in here, very minor stuff, but took the intercooler, all the piping off as well, and took this whole bundle out. And then now we're kind of here. I just got all of this stuff disconnected on the inside. I did not have to remove the dash, so the dash is still in. I didn't take anything out, but would have been a lot easier with the dash out, but we made it work. Now it's just the hood latch to disconnect, and then I can rip this whole thing out, and I'm going to be putting a new one in. Found a new one online. I'll just kind of show you the damage on this one. Somehow my wiring harness just shorted, and it melted a bunch of wires. As you can see here, there's just this strand, and it goes all the way along, and it's all bare wire. Everything's all melted. Get this turbo out of the way. That's the old T28 that I had on this thing. We have a bunch of just melted wires, like everything in here is basically melted. So I found a used one from another car, and I'm just gonna slap that in because this whole thing's just cucked. And I think it'll just be easier to just swap a new one in, because that really wasn't too bad to pull out. So I'll keep you guys posted. Alright, time for an update. The old wiring harness is now completely removed, and the new one, as you can see here, is now routed all the way in the factory location for now. We'll do a relocation another time here, but the other harness that I purchased had some wires that needed to be repaired, so we repaired just a couple wires, but I mean, it's way better than having to clean up this whole entire wiring harness, which was completely burnt up. So wiring harness is in. Now I'm just about to do the wastegate, because we got the new wastegate. So I just put some new springs in there because we're gonna try and get it around 20 pounds of boost and get rid of this eBay wastegate. And then I can put the fans and radiator back in. I had to buy a new battery, so we bought a new battery as well. This one is fried, so we got the same one just over there. Put the battery in, fire it up, and see what she does. We have the lights on now, so that's good news. That means that the harness is actually working. So we've got both headlights on right now. So just put the key in. The gauges work. All the little lights work, but we still don't have any actual like nothing for the dimmer. My cigarette lighter works. Radio does work. My HVAC is working. So essentially all we have is just our lights. Actually, these might work. No, those are working. Just the dash light. So we're gonna have to install the new wastegate. Now I don't know. I'll show you guys what I did here, because I just put about 20 pounds of springs in there. So obviously you're not going to be able to compress it to get the clamp on. So what you want to do is attach an air line to the bottom port and get some air. Just one of these little air guns works really good. This one had like a little barb fitting end on it, so I just stuck it in the tube, zip tied it closed, set the regulator on the compressor to about, I have to set it to like 22 just to get it to open. And that diaphragm will move up and you'll see it'll seat perfectly on the flange. So just get a little shop air to the bottom, and then you can do it all by yourself with a zip tie. And it's gonna go on super easy once you do that. So throw some air on it, clamp it up, good to go. So we put the intercooler back on. The rad fans and rad is in place. Put the dump tube on. That thing was a mess to get in there. Intercooler piping's bolted back up. We've got fluid in the radiator. We'll fire it up and see what happens. Removed. While I took the starter out, I decided to just remove that as I showed you, as well as I'm going to be deleting the cruise control. So I already have this unbolted. So we got to take that out. Gonna get a throttle cable for this thing tomorrow, and then we'll do that. Got to get a block off plate as well for the EGR, so we can do that. And then I noticed back here, I don't have flashlight on right now, but that's my rear trans mount, and I don't know if you can see, but there's supposed to be a bolt right in there. So we're missing a bolt in my trans mount. So that's going to cause a lot of shifting issues and vibrations and things we don't want. So I might just order a whole new mount for that. This one's also pretty shot too. I do have a new one of these and a poly mount. So we're going to put a new poly bushing in there and replace that one, as well as the one on the other side. So mounts, cruise delete, and yeah, a couple evap deletes. Still got to plug all these up and everything, but we're in the process right now, just getting it cleaned up under here. I think this will make it look a lot better with all that removed. Might tuck this harness, the fuse box just underneath the wheel well. I see a couple guys kind of tucking it down here. That's still an idea, but I was gonna do an actual wire tuck of the whole fuse box, but that's just a little more than I wanted to do with the car in its current situation. So we'll kind of take it day by day, but Yeah, that's where we're at right now. The reason I took the starter out, I actually didn't tell you this, but the car did not start, and I know for a fact that my starter was bad because it was just having issues all year last year before the car kind of melted the wiring harness. So we're gonna throw a new starter in, and hopefully that cures our problem. If not, we're gonna do a little more troubleshooting, but I did disconnect the clutch switch just to see if maybe it was that didn't do anything. I did not check the relay yet, but we're just gonna throw a new starter in because it's needed anyways, and see if that kind of takes care of everything. The cruise control is pretty simple. You're just gonna take 3 bolts off of here. Sorry, 3 bolts. One here, one here, one here. You're gonna take 3 bolts out of this guy. You got 1, 2, and 3. And then over there, there's actually 2 bolts behind there. There's one on the top left there. See if we can get a better angle. See if you can see what I'm looking at here. Focus, where are we? Holy, I'm lost. All right, so there's one up there, and then there's one right down there. So there's 2 there, and a lot of people have trouble with removing this green tab up here, but it's actually really simple. Let me just show you guys in a sec here what I did. All right, so all I did to remove this guy was take, sorry, it's a tough position down here, but take a flathead underneath there and just pry it out. So I don't really, like, it took me like 2 seconds. Just put a flathead underneath and pried it out, and that thing came right off. So it's actually super easy to do. You don't need to push the tabs on the back or anything. You just stick it in and push it out, and then you slide the cable through that little groove up top. All right, so I've been dealing with an absolute mess of a no start issue on this car for the last like 3 days. I haven't filmed anything, but essentially I had fought through every single relay. I was looking at schematics like nobody's business, trying to take a look at the starting circuit on this thing, see what was wrong. So I unplugged the clutch safety switch. I bypassed the starter relay. I checked the MPFI relays. I did so many things. The starter was good because we just bypassed everything and jumped the starter, and the starter was working. The battery's brand new, had full volts on the battery, and still couldn't figure it out. But when I did the new harness, I had cut a couple things off of the car, but they were all tied into the fan. So they had a fan switch located kind of like underneath the dash. You could toggle the fan, keep the fans on all the time. And I figured there's no way that was it, because it was simply just for the fan switch. But in fact, they actually tied the fan switch into, so essentially what they did was the relays, when you turn the key, they're powered on. So to supply power, they took power from the I'm drawing a blank here. The ignition switch. So the ignition switch no longer had any power at all. So you went to go, once it was in the start position, it just did nothing. So I traced the wires that they originally had ran, and it turns out the wire from the ignition switch went straight to here essentially, and right to the fuse box to get power to turn over the car. So I kind of redid their wiring, and what do you know, the car fired up. So I took it for the first drive today. Felt really, really good. Drove fine after 6 months of sitting, and it just started right up first try, like no hiccups, nothing. So the car's been really good. The new wastegate springs, I thought they were around 18.5, but I think the springs lied. They lied to me, because we're hitting about 22.5 pounds of boost just on wastegate spring pressure. I have the boost solenoid disconnected because I have the AEM True Boost. So I have the boost element somewhere down there, the AM True Boost. So I actually have it wired into DSM Link, so I can control the boost from DSM Link. But yeah, I mean, the car drives good. We moved it, so it was in the middle of the garage. Now we're on the side here. We're gonna be doing some underglow on Kyle's truck. So we actually wrapped this thing the other day, a couple weeks ago actually, sorry. But yeah, she's got a fresh camo wrap on it. So it turned out really, really well. There was a couple areas that were really tight, tough to do, but I mean, overall, I think it looks really, really good. It looks even better at nighttime. It's kind of got a weird texture on it. It's, I don't know if you can hear, but it's very kind of scratchy. So it actually laid down pretty poorly compared to some of the other wraps we've done. We've done a couple of wraps before, but I mean, you can see areas when you peel it off, you can see some of the areas and it just creates this chop. But I mean, overall, the truck looks really, really good. The back alley's super muddy right now, so there's no saving tires or anything right now, but it's warming up. But it's supposed to dump snow again next week, so that's kind of why I'm hoping to have this thing out of the garage by then, so we can get the Mustang back in here. But yeah, that's it for now. We're gonna be doing, what are we doing next? We've got a couple things to do. We're gonna install some poly mounts. I'm gonna take that back one out first because it's missing a bolt. But we do in fact have, let's see here, some poly mounts for the car. So we're gonna be doing some of those. Again, I did the roll stock already on the front, so we're gonna do that. I also just purchased an ethanol sensor, so we're gonna get this wired up and in line, and hopefully run some more boost this year, because I also got another package. Let's see here. We got some FIC 1650 high Z injectors. So we've got these, the ethanol sensor, and yeah, we'll be running E85 in this car, and hopefully around 30 pounds of boost, stock block. See what she goes. Rear trans mount out of the car. It wasn't too bad actually. There's one bolt. So that's the guy that's back here. You can see it's just kind of slots right back here. So there's one bolt on this side and two on that side. I just grabbed this contraption right here, just a 3/8 ratchet with a couple extensions. I also used a swivel and then a 14 mil socket, and just kind of went from the top here for the two on the driver's side, and then the one on this side was pretty easy. All of them are actually pretty easy. And then as you know, mine didn't have a bolt in the middle, so I gotta get a new bolt to go through here, but otherwise it wasn't too bad. Then you just kind of like gotta twist it, like get it out of there. It's kind of a fight to get through that contraption full of your heater core hoses and AC lines, if you still have those. Honestly, with all the stuff I've done in this car, like getting the AC lines out of here would just make everything like so much easier. They're so stiff, and they cause a lot of issues with removing stuff. So if you don't need AC, get rid of it. So we got the jack underneath the oil pan right now with the block of wood, and we took out the driver's side motor mount. So check this guy out. This thing is toast. I mean, like, there's nothing, like, I'm not even doing anything, and it's fried, guys. So I mean, like, this thing is just ready to come out. So I do have the bushing, the new poly mount installed already. That was pretty easy. This one actually went in like really, really nice. Again, I did buy a brand new motor mount, so I don't know if that made a difference or not, but essentially what I did, I stuck this in the vise, and I took a Sawzall and just cut right into, there's like this little outer ring here. So you just cut into this, and it basically just releases all of the tension. onto this. I ended up just cutting on this side as well too. And you want to just be careful not to dig into your motor mount, but yeah, just cut a slit in the outer ring here, and then took a hammer and a punch and just tapped it all around, and it came right out. And then yeah, these just honestly slid right in, so that's wicked. When I took the old one out, I do have the stud. There's two studs here. You get one there, one on the other side, and then that third bolt. This one's stuck in here, so I gotta get that out. But otherwise, very, very easy procedure and super simple. That rear trans mount was a lot more of a fight than this one was. But again, even that one wasn't too bad. So I'll get this out, get that guy in, and we'll see how she looks. And we've got the new one in. I actually re-tapped the threads on the stud that I had to pull out. And it was a little bit of a fight to get it back in. The motor kind of sat back a little bit, so I had to kind of like get the mount in like a little sideways kind of. I don't know. It wasn't too bad though. I did have to hit it with a hammer. As you can see, I made my brand new mount nice and pretty with the hammer, so that's really good. But I mean, like, it's tight now. Let's get a bar in here. Like, we barely move. It is nice and tight. So that's good. 3 down and 1 more to go. I just took a pry bar in here just to get the engine to kind of tilt forward towards the front of the car a little more. But this is the last one. I guess we got to take the battery out once again. The last one's in. This one was actually the hardest one to do, in my opinion. The other ones were all really, really easy. Even like the back one, which everyone says is pretty difficult. That one's actually like one of the easier ones that I've had. This one, I don't know, it's held in by 4 studs. So you have to be able to get the transmission dropped enough where you can lift it up and over the studs. But then the mounting bracket just on the side here, like, I don't know if I can get a good angle of that, but you can kind of see, so it's got to come, like, you only have so much room here to lift up. So you have to drop the transmission quite a bit. And I actually ended up having to loosen the rest of them, the mounts, to be able to do that. So yeah, but anyways, that's all in. We now have to wire up the speed density connector. And yeah, I mean, most of this is pretty much done. So I'm just gonna show you guys what I'm doing to wire up my ethanol sensor. Here's the pigtail here. This red wire is gonna be your power wire, so your 12 volt. On the MAF sensor connector, so this is my MAF, old MAF pigtail. I currently have my 2 wires for, this is for my intake air temperature sensor. So I already wired those in. Again, I'm on speed density, so I don't need the mass airflow sensor anymore. So I soldered in the power wire to this 12 volt, which is for your MPI. You can find a couple, there's like on the forums you can find where to splice it into, and then also on ESM Link, I believe, on their page, they can show you this as well. But on a 2G, you wire for me, it's gonna be my white wire, that's the signal wire, is gonna go to this blue and yellow wire. So we'll solder that up, and then the next one is gonna be your ground. So power, signal, and then ground. So that's where I'm tying this into. First drive in a little while here. I took it for a quick spin around the block last time I got that rear engine mount in, but done quite a bit of work to the car since. And honestly, like for all pulley bushings, like people are saying the vibrations are bad or whatever. Like it's so negligible in my opinion. Like I notice a little bit at idle, but I mean it's the trade-offs are well worth it. So like there's way more benefits to it than just the cons of the vibrations. Like it's so, like, let's see here, we're gonna stop at the light here and see if turn green. But I mean, like, I don't get any vibrations in this. I don't know if everybody else just has these really terribly put together interiors, but I mean mine's fine. I have no issues with the poly mounts whatsoever. It feels crisp though. I haven't done any pulls on it yet because I'm still not tuned on these new wastegate springs, and it's -1 right now, so it's really cold, so we're gonna hit more boost than usual. And even with the wastegate springs being higher than the previous ones, I don't want to hit too much boost, so we're gonna have to wait. But I mean, I could do some small pulls here. At least off camera it'll be better because it's hard to film and shift with one hand, so I can do a couple more and give you guys a little review afterwards. I need to get a setup, like a mount or something in my car, so we can kind of do some more driving PUBs, maybe like a hat cam or something, but we'll get there. Anyways, see you guys in a minute. And we're back. Drove the car, we're at Home Depot. So with the poly mounts, the vibrations are definitely there. You can hear it a lot in the back. I don't know if it's just the old plastic and stuff rattling, because it kind of used to do that. It gets loose every once in a while, but there's a little bit of vibration for sure. You can kind of feel it in your bum, which is nice though. I actually like it. Makes the car feel, I don't know, like angry, like it's ready to just unleash all its power. Like it feels kind of nice, but it feels a lot more responsive than it used to, obviously, with how bad my motor mounts actually were. So, I mean, the trade-offs are well worth it, I think. Just having the throttle response, the shifting not being completely like loose, and like you can make a sandwich in between each shift. Before this, just because it wouldn't go in, you'd be fighting against the movement of the transmission and the engine altogether, and fighting with the linkage. So it feels really, really good now. I actually like it a lot more. And to people who say don't get poly mounts because of the vibrations, like, I mean, we're in a 1997 Eagle Talon. Like, this isn't a Mercedes, guys, and it's really not even that bad. So if you've got like anything like, I don't know, like a 3-inch exhaust, like you're probably gonna notice that over your motor mount. So it's something that I wouldn't even worry about, honestly. But I'm gonna go into Home Depot, gonna try and get some stuff for this this bumper duct that I'm gonna try and fab up, see if they have anything in there. But maybe I can try and do some driving videos for you guys. And it's kind of tough with one hand because we got the 5-speed, but we'll see what we can do. She rips, boys. Those mounts feel fabulous. Like, the response is just crazy. So, I mean, obviously my mount was shot, there was a bolt missing, but it just feels so good. Oof, and I love that dump tube. Sounds so good. So we'll do a couple small pulls here. Feels good, guys. I miss this car. This thing is so much fun to drive, guys. It makes so many cool noises. That new turbo just, oof, sounds so good. We'll be going E85 soon. There's only one pump in Alberta, or actually maybe there is only one pump in Alberta. There's only one in Calgary for sure. Look at all these dump trucks. But yeah, we'll be switching to E85 soon. Now that we have that ethanol sensor plumbed up and wired in, we just got to get a remote tune. I'm gonna get Kevin Jewer. If you guys are any DSMers, you probably know who he is. He's going to be tuning it. We're going to get the tune for the injectors first, and then for the E85 after. So yeah, stay tuned for that, but that'll be it for this one. See you in the next one, guys.